Somerset Cricket Club of Sean Blanchard. Yesterday, the announcement came out that unfortunately the 2020 edition of the Cup Match Classic had to be cancelled. Must have been a tough, tough decision for you and your committee. Uh, how did you guys come to that painstaking decision?
Yeah, afternoon, Earl. Thank you for having me on today. As you had stated, it was most definitely a very, very difficult decision. I know on a personal level, once that press release was sent, it was very gut wrenching. Having been somebody who grew up around Cup Match and over the years, someone who has gotten to understand the greater meaning of Cup Match. So it was very difficult. I think all of us at Somerset have an appreciation for what Cup Match means historically and what it means to our culture as Bermudians. It's arguably the most fastest time of the year for many people and a holiday that everyone definitely looks forward to. And it's a time when we all come together in unison and full of good vibes and good energy. So, it was very, emotionally, it was difficult to make, but I think ultimately because of the public health concerns, it was the right thing to do.
When you meet with your executive for the final time and then the decision's made, what was the night before this press release? Because you sent it out midday, but knowing that it had to come out, what was the night before like for you personally?
The night before, I was fine. Like I said, I think it was once we pressed sand. Once we pressed sand, then it really sunk in as to what was actually happening. The night before, I was, I guess, more fixated on making sure that the public relations strategy that we had in place went through without glitch, because obviously, as a courtesy, there were sponsors and stuff like that we felt necessary to notify before public release. And then we also wanted to, as a courtesy, obviously we notified our counterparts in St. George. We wanted to notify our members. So my whole focus in advance of the release wasn't so much as to the magnitude of the decision being made. It was making sure that everything went through seamlessly. We didn't want any sort of PR own goals or anything like that.
One thing a lot of people don't realize is the magnitude of work that goes in to host Cup Match. Was that was a big consideration in as well as the health and safety of the people as well, wasn't it?
Well, I would say definitively health and safety was the distant way out in front main reason, but we also had to factor in the time that it would take to prepare the venue and things of that nature. And that was, I guess, sort of part of the reason we didn't make a public decision. We tried to give ourselves as much time as possible, but also being mindful of the time on the back end that we would need to get things in order. So we tried to find that right balance to make a decision whereby we've used the time to get as much information as possible, but on the other side, we haven't left ourselves short in terms of time to prepare things. But as stated, the health and safety was the driving factor that ultimately led to the decision that was made.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I know it was a tough decision, not only for you guys, but for the country and those people around the world that love Cup Match itself.
Yes, for sure. I agree completely. But what I would add to that is that, in situations like this, we have to remain positive and optimistic and see the potential opportunities that lie in it. So for me, I think it's perhaps an opportunity for the people of Bermuda to, I guess, maybe understand the story behind Cup Match. I think, and I don't say this disrespectfully, I think to an extent we perhaps get a little bit caught up in the cricket and the rivalry that's associated with Cup Match. And with the decision that's now been made, it's maybe a good time to maybe press pause, reset the dial, and genuinely reflect on Cup Match and its true meaning. I mean, the fact that this is an event that has been around since 1902, obviously to commemorate the emancipation of slavery, and the fact that our forefathers basically persevered with this event for over 40 years before it actually received recognition as an official holiday. So it's a deeper meaning. And don't get me wrong, I'm gravely disappointed that we won't have the cricket and stuff this year, but it's a deeper meaning that maybe at this time we can genuinely reflect on and better understand as a country.
Neil Painter, president of St. George's Cricket Club. Oh, hold on one second. Let me just make sure I'm recording. Okay, I'm recording. Okay. All right, here we go. 3 and 2 and 1. Neil Painter, the president of St. George's Cricket Club. Obviously, the news coming out of the West End this year was that the Classic had to be cancelled. A little bit disappointing, obviously, because as the challengers, you're always looking for any opportunity to try and win back that trophy. But now you turn your attention to 2021 and what you will have to do to prepare. What is in the makings for St. George's for 2021?
Well, like as we speak, Cup match is scheduled for in Wellington Oval in 2021. So once this decision was made, our committee will have to sit down in the next few weeks and start planning for 2021. Obviously, with this pandemic right here, fresh and now, we have to look at what the requirements are and how far we go in this pandemic. We'll sort of predict what types of things we'll be able to do in 2021.
Obviously, it's a big financial cost to put on a match like Cup Match, an event like Cup Match. The undertaking and missing out for a year, although it's year about, you still do a lot of preparations, even if you're not hosting it. So how does this affect St. George's Cricket Club?
Well, with it not being played this year, we are not really financially impacted. Obviously, being the non-host club, we don't have to spend any monies out, but we do receive some remuneration from Somerset as they would have been the host. We're the non-host club. But with preparations coming up for 2021, it'll be business as usual, where we create a budget, we set a plan out, then create a budget, and then we work in stages or in phases as we move closer to the actual event.
What advice would you have offered to Somerset during this time to come up with this decision? Because it's kind of a joint venture, although they were the host.
Yeah, I mean, they were the hosts. It was at their field. They had to deliberate with their people and see what things can be put in place, and they came up with a decision. And yes, I supported that because we worked together. Because obviously, without Somerset or without St. George, there would be no cup match. So, you know, if the shoe was on the other foot, which I told them, I don't envy the fact that it was, but I think we would have to really start early and sort of look at ways that we can have some sort of festivity activities, because first thing paramount is the health and safety of our local citizens. So even though there is no match this year, we're still looking to commemorate those 2 days, because Cup Match is more than just a game. It's the event. And some people go to Cup Match not even to watch the match. Some people go to Cup Match just to be with friends, family, enjoy the atmosphere, and just celebrate what Cup Match is truly about. So if it was in my shoe, which I'm glad it's not, I guess, you know, we might have made the same decision.